If you're going to sell a home, I suggest keeping it simple.
Okay.
Just avoid the wild side of the color palette.
Yeah.
You don't want bright oranges, bright greens, a lot of primary colors going on. Just, it doesn't need to be sterile.
Okay, right, because this isn't just white. It's very warm and inviting, but
Exactly.
it does look like kind of a parade home.
It doesn't need to be sterile, but it does need to be neutralized and minimized.
Okay.
I suggest to people, I always tell my sellers, I'll try to not to inconvenience you, but there's always going to be a little bit of inconvenience in selling a home.
Yeah.
Because you have to make it stage ready all the time.
Okay. So this, obviously, there aren't a lot of toys around. I mean, does it get hard with kids? I mean, I think that's hard if you've got a bunch of kids running around because they have stuff.
They do. There are also boxes to put kids' stuff in. I've had some clients that have like this box over here, for example.
Oh, okay, great.
Would be a great way of having a storage space. You can put your kids' stuff in it or dog toys in it. These people have a daughter and a dog, and all of their dog and child things are put away at all times.
Okay, okay, good. And you know, I notice here that they have a picture, because I think some people had heard, I know I'd heard before, don't have anything on display that's personal, but you kind of like that.
I don't think it's bad to have some. An occasional photo here and there isn't, I think, a bad idea. Where I think it gets to be a problem is if you've got lots of clutter, if you've got tables covered with photos. What you really want to focus on is having allow the buyer, the prospective buyer, to see their things in this space. You don't want the buyer to be noticing too much artwork, too much, personal items of the seller. It just takes the focus off the actual home.
Okay, so we want to start over here where there is a really good thing and and a not so good thing, just right in this area. Okay. Right,
as it turns out.
Yeah.
Yeah, fresh fruit is a good idea. These are fresh lemons. You can use any sort of thing. It really doesn't make any difference. I also love when my sellers put out fresh flowers. As you can see on the kitchen island, she's put out some Gerber daisies. It just adds a nice fresh spring, especially in the spring. It's a nice touch.
Yeah.
And especially when it's raining out in Michigan, it's even nicer.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Another thing that we were going to point out in this space, and I'm sure my client will be all upset that I'm pointing it out, but something very, very simple. All of your lights should be operational. They should work. It's a very simple and easy thing to take care of, and I know that she will make sure that's taken care of promptly. But those are just things that buyers are going to notice. Whether you like it or not, they're going to notice scuffs on walls, nicks on baseboards, tears in carpeting, any of that sort of stuff. You just want to avoid it.
Especially in a market like this where there are so many choices, you want yours to be perfect.
Yeah. I've always told all sellers, not only is it a price war, it's a beauty contest. You have to be priced correctly, which usually if you want to actually sell the property is going to be under what your best competition is, and you have to show at the 100th percentile level. If this were going to be set for a showing, you wouldn't have things on the counters like appliances. Usually, you typically wouldn't have those little paper cups or boxes of Kleenex. Those things typically I suggest just to minimize. You don't need to have everything sterile again. You can have some things out, but you want to minimize the things on counter spaces so the buyers can envision their things in those spaces.
What about some homes where perhaps, maybe the fixtures aren't exactly brand new? Do you suggest to people to upgrade?
It's not an inexpensive thing to do, particularly if you have 1986 brass fixtures, that kind of thing. Buyers will notice that. It makes it look dated, it makes it look tired, it makes it look old. It's not particularly expensive, maybe a couple $100 for a new fixture just to freshen it up. Or if they're rusty or tarnished, it's important that everything looks good.